Good evening, you're welcome once again to Fliptv News. I am Christian Chico. Let's take a look at some of the headlines. The DSS denies presidential candidate access to Nnamdi Kanu in Kuje prison. Also, DSS urges ASUU to call off ongoing strike. IGP orders prosecution of Prof. Abiola over assault on police officer. And APC blames Ngige Festus Keyamo on protracted ASUU strike. And lastly, Modu Sheriff in private meeting with Obasanjo. Let's take a look at the news in detail. The presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, has revealed that the Department of State Services denied him access to the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Sowore had shared a video on his Twitter handle on Thursday and said that he had waited for hours before being told that the time for visitation was over. He captioned the video, "I traveled to the headquarters of the DSS today upon invitation of unjustly detained IBOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, but after waiting for several hours, the DSS people told me I can't see him because the time for visitation has closed." On the ongoing strike, the Department of State Security, DSS, on Thursday appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities to call off the ongoing strike. The director of the service in charge of UB, Mr. Yunusa Abdulkadir, made the plea in Damaturu at the third quarterly conference of the State Directors of Security in the Northeast Zone. He noted that the strike, which paralyzed university education in the country, had security implications. In as much as we know that ASUU is pursuing a genuine case, they should take a deeper look at the peculiarities of Northeast region that has stayed for over a decade in the hands of insurgents, UNISA said. The director also called for the establishment of psychiatric hospital in Yobe to check post-traumatic disorder caused by insurgency. He said failure to do so could lead to high victims of trauma who could pose another security threat to the state other than that of the insurgents. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali, has strongly condemned the grievous assault of a female police officer, Inspector Teju Moses. The policewoman was assaulted by her principal, who is a legal practitioner and human rights activist, Zainab Dug Abiola, and her domestic staff comprising the housemaid one Rebecca Enichido and a male suspect currently at large. According to a statement issued on Thursday by the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, Zainab Dug and Mbise-born activists grievously assaulted her oddly in company of some accomplices on Tuesday, September the 20th, 2022, at her residence in Garki, Abuja, due to the refusal of the oddly to breach professional ethics by carrying out menial and domestic chores at her house. Adejobi said that the IGP has directed the express prosecution of the arrested suspects, who are currently in police custody, as the preliminary investigation shows overwhelming evidence of culpability on the part of the professor and her domestic staff. The IGP has equally tasked the investigative team to ensure that fleeing suspect is arrested and made to face the wrath of the law. The ruling All Progressives Congress has blamed the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, and his Minister of State, Festus Keyamo, for handling the industrial action of the Academic Staff Union of Universities with levity, which led to its prolonged nature. On Wednesday, the National Industrial Court, presided by Justice Polycarp Haman, ruled that ASUU strike was in breach of Section 18, Subsection 1 of the Trade Dispute Act, and accordingly ordered ASUU to call off the strike. It noted that the strike by ASUU since February 14, 2022 has caused irreparable damage to the careers of many students in Nigeria. But reacting to the development, National Vice Chairman Northwest Saliu Lukman said, although under the law, provision of dispute settlement is required to go through processes of mediation, conciliation, and compulsory adjudication through the Industrial Arbitration Panel and National Industrial Court, the reality is the almost complete absence of any mechanism to negotiate a resolution or at least implement the agreement. He added that over the years, however, conciliation and mediation as functions of the labor administration have greatly declined due to lethargic factors, largely because of indecisiveness of the Ministry of Labour. For instance, the processes for access to both the IAP and NIC, being the two legal bodies with the primary responsibility of dispute settlement that is legally binding and mainly through the Minister of Labour, it is curious to ask, out of all the plethora of industrial disputes leading to strikes, how many have been filed before the IAP and NIC to preempt strikes? Former Governor Ali Modu Sheriff of Borno State on Thursday held a closed-door meeting with former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta. The meeting, which lasted about 30 minutes, was held at the private residence of the former president inside the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in the capital of Ogun State. Sheriff, while addressing journalists after the meeting, described the visit as private. "My coming here is for a pure private meeting. Baba Obasanjo is an elder statesman, and I, being a younger one, it is important that from time to time I come to greet my father, discuss with him, and go back." With that, we've come to the end of the news on Flip. Today, I'm Christian Chuku. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.